Now, the audition for Tull wasn't particularly a memorable or pleasant experience, really, was it? The competition was very keen. Both Mick Taylor, who was with John Mayall, and incredibly, Tony Iommi. This was at his time with Earth before they morphed into Black Sabbath, also auditioning. So describe the scene then when you arrived there on the day.
Everybody's worst nightmare. A room full of guitarists. It was the gig everybody wanted, because Jethro Tull were the up-and-coming band, and they're a big name on the British blues scene. So they had a lot of people apply, and I was sort of chucked in at the deep end. It was horrible. You couldn't really do your best in a environment like that, and I was predictably awful. In fact, I was so bad on the guitar. I played a bit of flute, and I did really well on the flute. It didn't help me. But I think they had a short list of 3 people, and I believe Tony Iommi, myself, and I think Mick Taylor were the 3 that they were going to choose from. They went for Tony, and Tony didn't really suit the music. He didn't like the music as much as he thought he would. So I called back in a couple of weeks just to see how it was going on, and lo and behold, it was pretty well on the day that Tony had said, "I don't think I want to do it," and I said, "Great, give me another chance, because I can do a lot better than I did in that room. I really want and think this is the gig for me." So we got a pub up in Islington, I think, for the day, a rehearsal room, and we worked together for a day, and it was much better. And at the end of the day, everybody said, "Right, let's carry on and see where it goes."
The first link in the jigsaw that saw you eventually join Tull was when your band Gethsemane supported Tull in Plymouth. But it was Terry Ellis, wasn't it, who tracked you down at the very last gig you were doing with Gethsemane, I think in London, who gave you a business card and told you, "Ring me in the morning."
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was the last show, because we were really out of money. We'd just given up. We've been working for 3 years under different names and different genres of music, and we just said we have to call it a day. We just can't make ends meet, and literally that was our last gig up in London. And at the end of the gig, Terry came up to the stage. I didn't know who he was, and gave me the card, which had a little butterfly on it, and I think, I know what that butterfly means. It means Chrysalis Records. So I sort of knew what it was. It was quite exciting. I was very nervous and very excited. So I called him, and he explained that the guys remembered me, but they didn't know my name, and they couldn't trace me. And eventually Terry had found me at this gig.
After you joined and you put together Stand Up and you'd done all the rehearsals and you headed out to do some shows, you actually ended up, didn't you, in Europe supporting the legend that was Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah, it was a bit further down the line, because we spent Christmas rehearsing in London and essentially learning all the songs that were going to be on Stand Up. And then we did maybe 4 or 5 gigs in England, clubs, to trial this new show, and trial me, I guess. And mainly people didn't like it. They didn't like me, because they wanted Mick. They wanted the blues, they wanted the old style Jethro Tull. They didn't want these quirky songs they'd never heard before. So that there was a sort of uncomfortable atmosphere of, uh-oh, are we going in the right direction? But I mean, not just with me, but with Ian's songs as well. He turned everything completely around. But the last gig we did up in Manchester at the Student Union, they loved it. So it was just a moment of pure relief. And then we went over to Copenhagen. We did a bunch of gigs with Hendrix, Sweden, Norway, and that was amazing because he was the nicest person on the planet. I was petrified because he's my hero, and he's just a lovely person. I mean, if anybody could put you at ease and make you feel positive, it was him, and I was really proud to think that he would become a friend over the years.
Now, you had the opportunity, didn't you, to play Woodstock. What was the story about turning that down? There were some quotes which I read saying that the band didn't want to be associated with the hippie movement or the movement around Woodstock. Is there any truth in that? You did, of course, go on to do the Isle of Wight in 1970, which had Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, The Who, ELP on the bill.
I could say yes, but I could say no, because I don't think I did. I don't think any of us wanted to be rock stars. We saw rock stars up on stage. We did festivals with rock stars and rock bands, and we laughed at them because they were so pompous and full of themselves, and we never wanted to be part of that. So we were sort of the anti-heroes. We were the punks of the day, but we didn't look like punks or act like them. But I think we were of that era. We just didn't like the way bands generally thought they needed to be to succeed. So no, I didn't want to be. I wanted to be a working musician, playing great music, playing to as many people as possible. We had this. Jethro Tull had this work ethic, and it was all about the music. The money was rarely talked about, and success, we just took it in our stride, and we never let it get ahead of us. We thought, great, we're playing to 2,000 people, wow, that's nice. Then we're playing to 5, well, that's nice. And then 10. It snowballed, particularly in America. But we kept ahead of it. We just thought, yeah, that means we've got to work harder, not that we've got to sit back and enjoy the rewards.
And prior to that album, Stand Up, you were on about £50 a week, I think it was, including travel expenses. But then after that, and the money started to roll in a bit, Terry Ellis actually said to you, I advise you all to buy a house, which in those days was quite unusual, owning houses.
Yeah, it's hilarious. We were just stunned. I mean, the concept of buying a house, I mean, albeit on a mortgage, not buying one outright, but just nobody bought houses in 1969, 1970. You rented a flat, why wouldn't you? That's all you ever wanted. So, it was bizarre. It was just a very unnatural thing, but of course, I didn't even know how to buy a house, and I looked at the back of the Evening Standard, looked down all the places for sale, picked one out in the middle of Putney Heath. Well, that sounds nice. I went to have a look at it, and in an hour, I was looking at the guy. I said, well, I don't know what to do now because I want to buy it. And they were the nicest people. But yeah, I was really happy. But again, it didn't change me because everything I had in the flat, I had a horrible flat somewhere in Hammersmith, but I was proud of it. It was where I lived. It was still my home. So I just sort of moved everything to this little Muse house in Putney Heath. I was happy as could be. But we were rarely there. We were just on the road all the time.
You always say that Jethro Tull and you took yourselves seriously, sometimes a little too seriously, but you didn't have a reputation as being a party band. You didn't go crazy, and you always, as you said, ended up writing a lot when you were on tour.
Yeah, but by default, not because. I always saw people and the way they acted, and I'm the sort of person that doesn't go with the crowd. I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but if everybody wants to go up the pub to have a few drinks, I don't want to go. I don't want to. That's not me. But if somebody wants to go for a run round a park, oh, I'll go. I don't know. I'm just a different sort of person, but I'm not trying to be. That's the way we felt as people. That was our characteristic, our personalities, and again, it's going. We didn't want to go with the crowd. Everybody is doing that, so we don't have to do it.
How did you cope with Led Zeppelin then on tour in their prime? And what was it actually like watching them from the sidelines?
I loved them to bits. That they were the best rock band in the world, and they were, probably still are. They were phenomenal, and I always think, well, they parted on our behalf because I enjoyed watching them do what they did. I didn't get to see all of it, but they did it for us, and it made me. I don't know why, but it just sort of. I loved the fact that people did that and had this outrageous lifestyle. I didn't need to do it because I watched them.